Hello, hello. We are live. Welcome. Hold on, I gotta see if my audio is working. I need a better system. It's okay. Okay. Hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome if you're new here, and welcome back if you are returning viewers. I missed you guys. Oh, hi, Daddy. Okay. So this video, I'm gonna be talking about my acne scars, and how I dealt with it. The beginning, what life was like in the beginning of my acne journey, what acne was like when I was younger, how things went like that. I'm going to explain just was I really insecure at this time period? Was I like even to now like am I insecure in my scars? How do I feel about this? And what was life like at the time? So, let's get started. It's pretty simple. It's just more of a story time right now. Okay. So, I started my acne journey when I was 11 years old. That's when I started getting acne. That's when I started puberty, really, but that's when I started getting acne, and it was more you could say sugar in a way. We're not quite sure how my acne started up at the time, but again, I started puberty. I'm heading teenage years, so my body's doing all sorts of things. And so when I was 11 years old, I started getting acne. And even at the time, I had this crazy, crazy sweet tooth. Like, I was a sweet tooth child. Like, I ate candy and a lot of it. And it was kind of scary how much candy I ate. But, um, so when I was 11 years old, getting that acne, I got a few pimples. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I was getting a few pimples up here. Um, Most of it was on my forehead, really. Never came down to my cheeks or my cheekbones like later on, but it was my forehead. And I never had an insecurity. I had a few pimples here and there. I was usually a pretty confident kid anyway. Growing up, I had a lot going for me. Like, I was an attractive kid. Like, I was tall. I had friends. Middle school, I had good friends. I was never afraid of such things. I knew that pimples were, normal. We're teenagers. Like, we're grown. I'm obviously 11. I wasn't a teenager, but I was in middle school and I was, going down that realm. So it was never a huge insecurity for me. Maybe in the back of my mind, that's when something started happening, but it wasn't really a focus for me, really. Um, Going into eighth grade, that's when I started having that habit to peck at my skin, which I do not recommend. Do not do it. Do not do it because it's just not healthy. It's not good for your skin to be pecked at like that. And even if you have acne, that's going to happen. Your body will handle it. So, um, going forward to present time, so late eighth grade till freshman year and then sophomore year, first semester of sophomore year. That time period, that's when I started getting even worse acne. That's when I think because that was a time period where I was introduced to cottage cheese. And again, we talked about earlier in past videos, I've talked about how dairy has been what's really been messing with me and causing such inflamed acne because of inflammation and all that hormones in milk and dairy messing with my hormones. But the time we didn't know. And usually around that time period, like we thought it was sugar. Like all teenagers think it's sugar. If you have acne of any kind, it would be sugar. Um, Overall, I was a healthy kid, and so we haven't figured that out yet. But late eighth grade to freshman to first semester sophomore year, I'm going to be a junior this fall. But that time period, that's when it started progressively getting worse. I was introduced, like I said, I was introduced to cottage cheese, and I loved cottage cheese. Like, it was so good, and it was a great way to be getting protein. So I'd be eating it like right after I come home from school. I would be eating cottage cheese all the time, and I didn't think anything of it. We really did not know this had something to do with my acne. Again, my acne wasn't bad. Really, I was getting pimples up here once a while on my cheeks, but really that was about it. And but during that time period of me having more cottage cheese and like consuming dairy all the time, it started getting worse. And not until sophomore year, my first semester, it started getting like really, really bad. Like that's when, instead of just on my forehead, it started getting on my cheekbones and to my cheeks. Originally, junior year, when it started getting worse, it started on the side of my face right here. And then throughout that semester, it started coming down to my cheeks. And that was actually super scary to me because I've seen teenagers and I've seen people online with acne with like right on their cheeks, and my heart goes out to them because that is really scary, and it's painful. Like it's painful just here and having to deal with inflamed acne like that. So um so it was getting worse, and not until sophomore year, first semester, that's when it started getting bad. And at this time, it's your own face for me, and I didn't really notice the fact that my acne was getting worse. It's kind of like in a way gaining weight, where it's like you're gaining weight, but you're not really noticing because you're slowly adjusting along with that. So like you're mental, you're like you follow along with the weight basically. So if you're gaining weight, it's like, okay, you're not really registering the fact because you're moving along with that. So the same thing went with acne. It's just like, oh, I have some pimples, that's okay. And then it progressively gotten worse, and then I was more like, okay, I don't know. Like I wasn't really paying attention, and it really took my dad to tell me that it's actually getting worse. And it never really occurred to me. And that's when we started going into that diet and having to get a new diet. Not new diet, but fixing my diet, because obviously something that I was consuming was really messing with my hormones. And I'm a teenage girl. I'm 16 years old. My body's all over the place. It's working all over the place. So um at the time when I was 11 years old, we thought it was sugar. And I think in some ways it could have been sugar. But at the time, when you're like younger and you don't quite fully understand, you kind of in a way want to go against your parents. So my dad warned me. He said it could get worse when I started getting acne, and he was saying how um even at the time we thought it was sugar, and so he was saying, you gotta stop with the sugar. You gotta stop with the sugar because it's gonna get worse. Your body's you're just consuming too much sugar. And at the time, I was like, I didn't want to be restricted, and I feel like when parents make, I feel like a bigger deal than it really is, especially in my eyes, we tend to resent from that. So like you say you have a topic and then your parents are like, they make it a bigger deal than it actually is, then kids automatically want to go the opposite direction. When my parents put baking restrictions on me, where I have to have less sugar or like stop with the baking, or like not gluten-free, sugar-free baking, I wanted to bake all the time. Like I actually pushed, and I was like, I want to bake, I want to bake. And then when my parents let off on that, that's when I stopped baking. So it was really interesting because if you make it a bigger deal than it actually is, kids naturally want to go the opposite direction. And at the time, I didn't really register the fact that it could have been sugar. I was just more like, why can't I have sugar? I was more focused on the restriction rather than what it could do for me. Um, Even starting my acne journey and having to change my diet, it was hard because I knew I had to do something different. I knew I had to change, but I was afraid to like have to be in this restriction where I have to change my diet. I have to stop having dairy. And I actually love milk, which is super, super crazy. But having to stop kind of made it hard. But now that I'm older, now that I'm 16 years old, I kind of accepted the fact that I had to do something to change my acne. And I wasn't quite sure if even at the time I had an insecurity for that. It was just more like an issue I had to deal with. Um, because there's always so many things going on in life, and even in my life, and like acne was never the top priority for me, so I think that's why it went on for so long. But even again, I'm a teenager, my body's going to do weird things. And so um I never really had an insecurity, but when things became worse, so when my inflamed acne started popping up even more, and let's remember, I started pecking at my skin at 8th grade. And so now imagine that with even worse acne, with inflamed acne that actually really, really hurts. So that's where all these scars are from. That's where the scars up here and the side of my face to my cheekbones, that's when it started getting really bad. And I think that's when I, in a way, kind of formed a small insecurity because that's the first thing people would notice about me. You know, when you're having a conversation about somebody and you're making eye contact with them, but you just naturally like divert your eyes around their face. You're just like in a way admiring them or like looking at their features. Just creating an understanding of their face. It's human nature. It's natural to look at the person not just to straight to their eyes, but looking around their face. Unless you're judging somebody and you're purposely looking for flaws, that's one thing. But like naturally, when I'm talking to somebody, sometimes I just like look around their eyes, their eyebrows, their face, their teeth. Like I'm not looking for anything. It's just I naturally divert my eyes to other things. Um, and so that never hurt me that much. Like people would look at my scars, at the time my acne, but that was never a big deal to me. That never bothered me because I was like, whatever, I have acne. But when things started getting worse before I fixed it or handled it, that's the first thing people would see from me. And this kind of started in freshman year, where when I'm just talking to somebody and I notice that they're not looking at my eyes, they're looking at my face, my forehead, they're looking at my scars. They're not making eye contact with me first. That's the first thing they see is my scars. And that really kind of triggered something in me because that's like, why aren't you looking at me? Why are you looking at my acne on my own? Like I know that something is happening with my skin, but like in a way it wasn't a serious insecurity. The older I got, and even current acne like that, I don't have any right now. And in the future, I don't think I will. Like I for a long time. But that's because I started this. But but people notice from me that kind of caused an insecurity. I didn't know about all this dairy information and do to your face and like your hormones and everything if it wasn't for the help of my dad. He did tons of research, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him doing so much research for me. But so at times when I started this journey, he would be looking at my forehead, and no fault, no hate. I love you, daddy. All good. It's just it was hard for me because, and he was just trying to process what kind of acne I had, because again there are types of acne, and the acne I had was inflamed acne, and it was because of the dairy. But at the time we didn't know that. This was freshman year to my start of my sophomore year. And even some of my siblings, I would catch them. They would be looking at my acne. Not a big deal, but it's hard because when it started getting progressively worse, and I know that, and it's hard for me to have a conversation with somebody when they're looking at my forehead. It's like I'm trying to have eye contact with you, but again they're looking at my forehead. And my dad didn't have any bad intentions at all. He was trying to help me more than anything, but I realized that it was hard for me to talk to you, and I would cry sometimes because it's like I know I have flaws up here, but it's like, why is it such a big deal? Um, it was kind of a big deal, and I should have taken it as a big deal, and I did eventually. But even then, it was hard. So, um, um, I think that was most recent, and luckily from that's when I actually started this acne journey and healing my acne. So a big thanks to my parents, because if it wasn't for them and for them showing me, I wouldn't. I don't think I would be here today. I think I will still be having this acne problem, but um again, but I even though I created this small insecurity, it really built character for me. Like I went through my character development, and obviously I'm still growing. I'm a 16-year-old girl, and yeah, Anthony didn't notice. He didn't notice. He's just good like that. Um, again, it wasn't a serious insecurity for me. It did bring character development, I believe, because if it wasn't for having to take time to figure out my meals for the day, figure out having to like figure out foods that I can eat that is outside of gluten, sugar, and dairy. I'm back to some sugar and some dairy in good healthy amounts, obviously, but um, I became more aware about what I eat, and having to have the discipline to eat that same thing nearly every single day, and forcing myself to be creative and what I can eat really built a lot of discipline and in a way a form of humble. Like I learned to be humble from that. Um, created a lot of discipline, and I really liked that because it brought challenge in my life and like brought challenges in my life, and I think that really opened my eyes to, I can accomplish things. And I think that was the biggest thing I was worried about when starting this journey is, am I gonna succeed? Like, am I gonna do this? Is this gonna work? And having to deal with the thought that it may work, it may not work. And luckily with my parents, and I'm thankful, they kept encouraging me. They're saying, we can fix this, we can fix this. Um, no worries, we will get this fixed. And that helped me a lot. My So overall, because of that discipline I had to form when having to fix my diet for my acne, really changed a lot, and having to figure out what is actually triggering my acne, and having to be brave, because once I stopped having dairy, gluten, and sugar, it was hard for me to get back onto it. Um, because I'm like, I don't want this to happen to me, and I don't want this acne to be happening again. And we only started introducing things back into my diet when my acne was actually gone. Like, it took months though. I think I started my acne journey in February, and I just now started eating um, gluten and some sugar in like May. And so it took months for my body to cycle out what was messing with my body at the moment, and that really helped a lot. um but again, took months. And when I was going back into, let's test, see how gluten affects you, how even the energy drinks, I've discussed this in the past, we purposely introduced some things to see what my body reacted to, what caused inflamed acne. And we found that some energy drinks, even the natural ones, do cause acne because of the B6 and everything. But it was a good test trials. Like, that really helped me a lot to figure out what I'm dealing with, what my body is dealing with. So it took a lot of, I feel like, I don't want to, like, it took some bravery, like courage. Like, I needed courage to get past that fear again of getting acne. And even then, I think still causes, like, me not having dairy. I feel like it kind of created this fear in the back of my mind, because sometimes I do get dreams of me accidentally consuming dairy or something, and it might, like, acne starts popping up on my face, and I would get so stressed about it. I don't really know why, because I'm not that stressed about acne, but I think sometimes in my, like, subconscious mind something happens, and I get anxious with dairy. Um, Along with that though, I think healing my acne and healing my acne and stopping the process of having acne and going down that road again. But um even my acne scars, like, in some ways I have every reason to be insecure in my acne scars, and I'm not. I had more insecurity in my acne than I did my acne scars now. um in a way, I'm actually very proud of my scars, because it brought a lot of development for me. It really opened my eyes and my point of view when it comes to a lot of things, when it comes to life like that. And, you know, I in a way, I kind of saw it like a burden. Like, I feel like in society, it's like, if your face is not perfectly clean, or if your face is not, this perfect shape or something, it's like you're not that special, or you're not that pretty. And I was never worried about, I'm not worried about my scars. Like, I actually love my scars, and I'm really in no hurry to heal my scars. My dad bought me a product to help with my acne scars, and I'm taking that, and I'm thankful for that. I just think that I'm really in no hurry. Like, I'm not stressing so much. Like, I have to fix my scars. Like, it's a right away thing. I found a lot of good that comes from my acne scars. It really opened up my perspective. I really love even my sophomore year, and having to deal with my acne scars in this journey during my sophomore year was perfect timing, because in my second semester of my sophomore year, I met some new people, and I actually became friends with some new groups of people, but they're different. This is the group of people who don't judge you by the way you look, but the way you act, how kind you are, or like how you react to certain things, your attitude and everything. So I met these people started actually becoming comfortable with these two people. They were friends, and I got comfortable with them, and because I had classes with them, And they were eating, and we were on this. I was just sitting next with them after class, and they were eating. And so they asked me, "Do you want whatever snacks they were eating?" And at the time, I couldn't have any dairy or sugar yet. Gluten or sugar yet. And I was like, "No, I appreciate it, but I can't have any." And one of them asked me if I was religious. I said, "No, and not that way. I'm religious, but not in that sort of way. It's more for my acne, and that's when I started having active acne. That was not starting. That's when I actually was healing my acne. That's when I was healing my diet, my gut, but I still had acne. Again, like I said, it took months for me to heal my acne and clear out my system. But I still had some current acne at the time. This was, I think, April. Not April. I think it was earlier than that. So February. What comes after February? I don't remember. Anyway, so that's when, I was with them, and my face was getting better, but it wasn't clear yet. Like, my face is clear right now. Like, I have no acne, but my face was getting better at the time, and but it wasn't perfect. And so I was talking to them, and they were like, "Oh, we didn't really notice your acne." And that's when they actually started looking at my face. And like I said about that insecurity of people like staring at my acne specifically, that's kind of insecurity came out a little bit. But they were like, "We did not notice your acne at all." And I was like, and I find it really interesting because, again, these are the type of people later I find out learning about them and their personalities and stuff, is that they don't judge people by the way you look. Like, your acne, it doesn't define who you are. They were saying, yeah, that we didn't, like, he was like, "You're really pretty anyway. I didn't even notice your acne." And that really stuck with me. And then the girl, she was saying that acne brings a personality to you, because your face, like, two people who have acne aren't going to have acne in the same places or scars in the same places, really. So it really brings a uniqueness to your face. It brings special qualities, and it in a way kind of tells a story, especially if you have acne scars like I do. And it really opened up a new perspective for me, because it's like, why am I so worried? And again, even at the time, I wasn't too worried about my acne scars, but my acne was like concerning me. And it really opened up a new perspective for me, because it's like, my acne, it doesn't really define who I am. Like, it tells a story, and it really built a lot of character for me. It did a lot for me. And instead of seeing it as a burden, you should see it more as, in a way, your trophy. Like, the effort you went through trying to heal your face, the amount of care and love you have for yourself to try to be better. I really see it that way now because of them, because they're saying that it doesn't define you, it doesn't define who you are, but it tells a story. Like, you look very pretty with like acne scars. It's like stars in the sky. And it really changed something. Like, being with them and spending time with them really opened my perspective when it comes with people and having to deal with situations, and the fact that everybody is not perfect. Like, we're all not perfect. We have struggles in life, and that really, again, it opened up something for me. And having to, like, no longer seeing my acne as a burden, no longer seeing it as something that I should be ashamed of. It's something that you should be proud about. It really, because again, the acne journey I went through, the scars I have on my face tells a story, because it shows the development I went through. For me too, it's a reminder that you're actually strong, and you actually handled the situation, and you dealt with it. Like, you solved the problem. You succeeded. And as I mentioned earlier, I was afraid that I wasn't going to succeed. I did not think, like, because I've had acne for so long, like 5 years, and starting at a young age is a long time, especially for a girl trying to figure out, her confidence and her personality and everything. So it was basically my life, and I was afraid that I was never be able to get rid of it. And now that it's gone, it really shows how far you can go. Like, you are not limited. Like, you can do a lot, and if you put a little bit of effort every day, you will succeed. And I find that super interesting, and that really sticks with me sometimes. And I love my acne scars. Let's be honest. It brings a lot of reminders and good reminders that I put a lot of effort, and I kind of like them because they're on my cheekbones and stuff, and I think they're kind of cool. And I really like the idea that they're like constellations or like stars in the sky at night. And sometimes I think about that. It's like, but it puts personality to you. And if you have scars, you can think of it through a positive lens. And I think that's super important, especially getting older and having to figure out the kind of person you are, is to figure out, can I see this in a positive way? Like, is this really that bad that I have to constantly dwell? Like, even acne, like, some kids really dwell in their acne. And in a way, acne can come from stress. And so I could see this journey as, like, scarring or, like, terrible or terrifying or something. So something completely different. I had to go through a lot of discipline to actually fix my diet, fix my gut, heal my acne. And you can see it through a negative lens, but I choose not to, and you shouldn't either, because it fixes your point of view. Like, it actually makes life a lot easier if you see the positive, and you just keep hope. You keep hoping. Like, one day, I hope that my acne does heal. But for now, I'm happy with what I have and what I really dealt with, because it shows a lot what I dealt with in life, and that I actually can grow and succeed. So that was it. And that was my entire story I wanted to say. It's kind of personal for me to talk about because everybody else have their own, story with acne and everything, and this one's kind of specific. I thought it was a good conversation to talk about because not everyone sees it the same way, or not everyone's gone through the same path as I've gone through, or yet have gone through. And I hope that one day, that even if you are battling with acne scars, or anything else really, that you can figure out to learn, like, you learn how to see it through a positive lens and be thankful for what you have. Because I'm thankful for my acne scars. I'm thankful for the journey I went through. I'm thankful for, having to be different, figuring out how to be different, because that became who I am today. And I think that's why it's important also to, make friends, talk to people, because you experience a lot of good people. Like, it kind of blew my mind. Like, even on time period, I had this, like, in my freshman year, I had this negative point of view on people. And then growing up and, having to be a better Christian, a better follower, a better servant, being a better friend. And I pray about that a lot, having to be a better daughter, a better friend, a sister. It opens your mind up for certain things, and, like, expands your compassion. I was a pretty, like, strict person. Like, freshman year, I was mean. Like, I was a very judgmental person. But because of the experiences I went through, because of my acne journey that I had to go through, because of the new people I met, because of, getting older with the help of my parents, I became who I am today, and I'm becoming better because of those situations I've been through. So I want to say, never be afraid of growth. If you see a difficult challenge, really go at it head on. And I really suggest doing that, because the acne, like, I decided with my dad on one day, my dad was like, we have to fix this. No more dairy, no more gluten, no more. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, I had to process this. I had to process, okay, I have to change. But I just went on it, and I just committed. And you really should do the same, because it really changes your life, and it changes your perspective on everything. So, yeah, tough topic. Really good job. Really good job talking about it on it. Thank you, Daddy. So a lot of thanks to my daddy. Yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any comments, any thoughts about the entire thing, if you have questions about my story, how I felt in a specific time period, if you have any thoughts, any ideas, please tell me. I believe it's important to have such conversations, because we need to, like, normalize growth. We need to normalize issues that we have in our life and grow from it, and be comfortable to talk about it, because people, like, I wish I had people at the time when I was younger talking about it. And in a way, I want to be that kind of person to help others understand that, you can grow from this. You are strong, and you can become better. So I hope that helped a lot. Like, subscribe, do everything, comment if you have to. I hope you enjoyed, really. Yeah, that's about it. Okay. Well, I'm going to end the live. Thank you for being here. And, yeah, have a good day. See you later, and I'll see you in my next video, next live. Be watching because I'll be posting.